Welcome back, friends. Today, we will have a look on some of the most haunted beaches of the United States. Alright, let's begin. At the point when you consider an oceanside excursion, you presumably imagine yourself relaxing around the ocean, playing in the surf, and getting an extraordinary tan. You may not consider spooky figures wandering over the sand, yet that is the thing certain individuals experienced when they visited the most spooky seashores in the country. The following time you book a getaway rental or lodging from an organization, see if the closest oceanside is home to any paranormal movement. The most haunted beaches in the United States. St. Petersburg Beach, Florida. Of the multitude of fantastic activities in St. Petersburg, visiting the oceanside is one specific experience to encounter, not just on account of its immaculate, extended length of white sand seashores, yet in addition due to the fascinating, unpleasant origin story of the famous Pink Royal residence. This hotel is known as the Ware Caesar. This 1920s hotel situated on St. Pete's white sand oceanside is a spooky oceanside spot where rumors have spread far and wide suggesting that business and hotelier Thomas Rowe's soul haunts the lobbies of the lodging. The Don Caesar, which Rowe named after the personality of the then well-known drama Maritana, Don Caesar de Basin, turned into a commonly recognized name for the rich and popular Once Upon a Time when it opened its entryways in 1928. The story goes that Rowe experienced passionate feelings for Lucinda, a Spanish show star who likewise played in the drama Maritana, whom he had met in Britain. Lucinda's parents intervened in the relationship, but Rowe kept in touch to write her letters. But the only response he received was the clipping of a newspaper detailing her death with a note that said, "My beloved Don Caesar." After seeing this letter, Rowe suddenly passed on from a heart attack, and reports proposed that some people had seen a young man wearing a suit and an old-school Panama hat in the corridors of the hotel, and sometimes with a lady sporting a conventional Spanish peasant dress. Moss Beach, California. Moss Beach is one of the beautiful California beach town alternatives to Santa Monica, and for good reason. Its undisturbed shore and the wonderful views of the Pacific Ocean are just among the reasons why it's an incredible spot for travelers looking for uncrowded beach destinations. Moss Beach is also said to be spooky by a young married woman who used to go to a speakeasy atop the rugged cliffs with her musician lover, who played at that bar. Known as the Blue Lady, she was always dressed in blue. The woman was supposedly killed at the beach below the bar while strolling with her lover, who was also attacked but survived. It is said that the Blue Lady's husband was never seen again after her death. There have been reports that a few uncommon activities and sightings occurred at the bar and the beach, including mysterious phone calls and drifting checkbooks. Coquina Beach, Florida. Situated in Bradenton, Florida, Coquina Beach is a little beach with clear blue waters, only a few steps from delicate earthy-colored sand. Sometime before this oceanside became well known to locals, it was home to an enormous lodging that cared for sightseers. After different urban communities took consideration away from this medium-estimated city, various inns shut down. The city later destroyed the old hotel and opened the beachside to people in general. Those expecting a late-night swim some of the time hear murmured voices calling to them and see shadowy figures meandering across the oceanside. Coquina Oceanside is additionally home to the spooky ghost of a more seasoned man who appears to be confounded and perplexed. Anybody who endeavors to move toward him finds that he vanishes. Balboa Island, California. California is home to a few haunted seashores, including the one situated on Balboa Island in Newport Beach. During the mid-1990s, the oceanside was a famous spot for youngsters to swim after dusk. A young man and young lady took a dip on one portentous evening and never returned. It was so dim out that they didn't see the riptide until it snatched them and pulled them down. Guests presently report that they see surprising shadows moving under the water, hear hints of children crying or shouting, and see unexplained lights close to the water's edge. Outer Banks, North Carolina. The Cape Hatteras Lighthouse sits right on the beach in the Outer Banks region of North Carolina and once performed an important function. The keeper of the lighthouse was responsible for alerting ships at sea of any possible dangers near the beach. A young man working on one of those ships lost his life after the captain either didn't see the lighthouse or ignored in and crashed the ship. Hundreds of people over the years reported seeing a lost-looking man wandering along the edge of the beach with his head low. Many see him walking a sad path between the beach and the lighthouse later at night. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. One of the most popular places in the world for tourists today is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, home to golf courses, museums, restaurants, and historic sites. Myrtle Beach is also home to one of the country's most haunted beaches. Years ago, a young boy visiting the city with his parents decided to take a dip in the ocean. When he went too far out, he tried to scream for help, but found that no one could hear him over the noises on the beach. Tourists and locals now tell stories of seeing a small boy standing at the edge of the water with a confused look on his face, or hearing the eerie sounds of someone screaming for help. Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Pawleys Island likewise has its portion of haunted stories, including the soul of a man called the Gray Man, who's said to have been haunting the seashores at Pawleys Island. There are various stories encompassing the Gray Man. One that says that he tumbled off his horse en route to visit his girlfriend and suffocated on Litchfield Oceanside. Another story says he was caught in the sand trap with his horse while navigating the marshland. Rumors have spread far and wide suggesting that the Gray Man, who strangely dresses in all gray, saved his girlfriend and her family from an approaching typhoon after his passing. It has been seen that Gray Man has been seen trying to caution the occupants of storms by meandering the seashores before they emerge. Manzanita Beach, Oregon. Manzanita Oceanside is one of the little summer towns with the best seashores in the Pacific Northwest, less swarmed and radiating a laid-back environment, ideal for beachgoers looking for a tranquil retreat. Be that as it may, really quiet, Manzanita Oceanside is likewise spooky by the spirits of killed men from the 16th century. Rumors have it that there was a shipwreck close to Manzanita Beach, and on board were Spanish mariners who attempted to bury a chest of gold, which they should bring to Nikani Mountain. It's said that they killed a man or much more, and covered them along with the treasure to prevent individuals from taking their gold. What's considerably more scary is that these killed men's spirits actually torment the paths nearby, and the oceanside is often found to have heaps of stones that seem as though they were constructed throughout the evening. However, at that point, nobody at any point saw who did them. Mackinac Island, Michigan. 7 ladies who were thought witches were thrown into the tidal pond, presently called the Suffocating Pool, between Mission Point and downtown Mackinac Island, which is viewed as America's most lovely town. During the 1700s and 1800s, deciding witches was finished by binding rocks to the thought ladies' feet and tossing them into the water to see who drifted and who sank. The women who drifted were honest, while those who didn't were witches. Every one of the 7 ladies at that time drowned. Today, it's said that the waters at the Suffocating Pool are as yet haunted by the 7 ladies. For certain women say that they've seen dark figures and shadows sprinkling and drifting over the water's surface.